What's up, YouTube? My name is Uncle Smokey, and this is Uncle Smokey Stock Trades. And before I start this video, I would like to say I am not a financial advisor, and this is not financial advice. So please take what I say with a grain of salt and do your own DD. Today we're going to talk about ticker symbol MMAT, Metamaterials Inc. We're going to go over the TA, we're going to look at the options chain, we're going to go through Ortex real quick, and I do have some new information for you about Ortex. We're going to go through Fintel, our spreadsheet, of course. Look at Twitter because I did send George a tweet a little while ago. I want to show you the meta page and where you can find the old Q1 earnings, so you can compare them to the Q2 earnings whenever they do get released. And, of course, at the end of the video, we're going to go over my quick prediction real quick. And I hope I don't forget it this time. So, it looks like today we were trying to replicate yesterday. Well, the shorts were. So we started at 356, and you'll notice that we basically followed the same exact trend as yesterday. We bounced right at the same point at the same time and started coming back up. Now, unfortunately, as soon as we mounted the VWAP, it got rejected. And it got rejected exactly at the $3.45 line and pushed down to 333 on a downward trend. Now, once we got down here, we did respect 335. We respected it very well. In fact, we consolidated against it the entire rest of the day. For about 2.5 hours-ish, we consolidated. Thusly, yeah, I said thusly. Thusly, solidifying our base, our solid point down here, giving us another great spot to bounce off of. Now, the reason why I want to show you it's so important that we consolidated down here and really didn't go any further is if you look back at the 30-minute chart, we've done this several times. We've utilized 335 as a support and resistance on multiple occasions. So the more we can tap that line and strengthen it, the more likely it is that we're going to just launch from here and not pull any further down. So, and again, that's not a guarantee. It's just history, okay? Now, let's talk about the other thing we got going on the screen. Before we go any further, today I was able to increase my position. I made a clove play first thing in the morning, got up early in the morning. Got in at 9:05, rode it up to 10:06, I believe it was. Sold off, and I brought, of course, my profits here to Meta. Not all of them. Not all of them. I want to be straightforward with everybody, honest. I always take 15% of anything I make in the market. It goes directly into my IRA. I want to retire one day, so I do that on everything. My paychecks are the same exact way. I have a couple of different IRAs. So just to let you know, if anybody wants to solidify their future, IRA, 401k, really anything works. It's all up to you on what you prefer. Do your research, read into it first. So with that being said, let's move on to the options chain. There wasn't nothing super fantastic other than the shorts are going to lose on the chart, right? Right. IV still at 181. That's fantastic. It's staying in a really respectable range. Of course, we'd really like to see it come way down, but you're not going to see that. Not on a stock like this. It's got a lot of eyes, which brings a lot of attention, which brings some volatility, and with volatility comes implied volatility. That's kind of what it is. Anyway, 14,800 calls, 3,200 puts. That's 80% calls, 20% puts. Super bullish. I mean, this is as low as we've been, other than that one time I think we came in at like 65, 35 or 70, 30, something like that. So, great day today on that. Nothing else I really want to concentrate there on. Let's move to Ortex. I'm going to hit the refresh button real quick. Let's see if anything changes. It always likes to change. All right, so return shares, borrowed shares is neutral on the day. Utilization still basically what it was yesterday. Cost to borrow is down a smidgen. The days to cover still basically where it was. And shares on loan, all that stuff, it's not changing. And that's okay. That's all right. None of this is really that big of a deal. This is just a gauge. What I want to show you is the FTDs, okay? The FTDs have updated on the screen. This is Torch, okay? All of this information here, this is all the old Torch info. We didn't have this the other day. Meta's a new company. They can't have FTDs from the Nasdaq when they weren't traded on the Nasdaq, Okay, this is all your torch information. And when you come right up to here, you're going to notice that this is now, there's that 8.5 million that everybody's always talking about. There's that 10.5 million that everybody's always talking about. Now, one of the things that I've mentioned in my past videos is how the FTD count is calculated. Now, failure to delivers can't really be lied upon. It is a filing given to short positions and other positions. It's not just for naked shorting and things like that. Always keep that in mind. A naked short is an FTD, but an FTD is not always a naked short. Okay? Anyway, back to what the topic was. So the way the FTDs are calculated is these are not cumulative numbers. You don't take this one and add this one, this one and add this one, this one and add this one. It doesn't work that way. Okay, so the way they do it is every day FTDs do get covered. And as that happens, more FTDs get issued. So this number here is, so 8,673,000 from Torch is whatever FTDs were covered that day, plus whatever FTDs were in existence, whatever FTDs were in existence from the day before, less the FTDs that were covered, so minus any FTDs that were covered, plus that day's FTDs, okay? Makes it an aggregate number. So at most you're going to see, for instance, right here, is 180,798 FTDs. That is the exact number of failure to delivers that is in existence on July 14th. There are no more than that. Okay? So to think that we have all of these FTDs, we don't. Okay? And I've said that before, and I think it's been ignored a little bit because we keep seeing all of these graphs and charts and stuff pop up. And I just wanted to clear the air that I've done this myself. I've contacted Ortex. I've actually gone through the SEC documents and through Investopedia and through all these other channels. I've called a couple of brokerages. They've confirmed all of this information for me. Okay, we can't pull these numbers out of thin air. The Nasdaq gives us these numbers. This is a filed number given to us. Okay, and that's why it's so delayed. You're almost a month back now. So ultimately, to think that we know what the current FTD calculation is, it's next to impossible. We won't know that because they don't know that. Okay? So, and again, if I'm wrong and if I'm way out of bounds here, let me know. I'm a humble man. I love to be proven wrong. However, according to the rules that I have read and interpreted and shown you guys in previous videos, that's the number. 180,798 FTDs. Until I think Monday or Tuesday, and they're going to come out with a new count. You're going to see what it was from the 14th of July up until the 1st of this month, okay, or the 28th or 29th, whatever they do it to, okay? So, with that being said, I'm not going to push into this any further. We're going to go ahead and move on into FinTel. And again, I'm sorry if that let a lot of people down and confused them. Now, I'm not saying that that is exactly the way it is with the Torch shorts. I'm still in limbo with that. I'm just talking about meta shorts. I just wanted to point out that the Torch data did update onto here. As far as it goes with these shorts here, meta shorts is 180,798. The end. Torch, I can't answer that question still to this day. I'm not 100% positive, and I won't speculate. Those could exist. I don't know. Okay? Okay. FinTel. Not that one. That one. All right. Short interest data. Let's hit refresh. Everybody likes it when we hit refresh, right? Right. It's accurate. Oh, we shouldn't have hit refresh. It went down. All right. So we're at 53% as far as the short squeeze score. Of course, it came down a little bit. We had 5 green days in a row. Short interest ratio is going up. Of course, this and this won't change for several days now. Let's go ahead and scroll down. So I put a tweet out again earlier today showing that the activity from FinTel was a little crazy. We went from like 2 million available to less than 1 million available, and eventually today we went back up and down. Again, this is a leading prime brokerage. You use it as a gauge, but it shows that they were really shorting the stock. They were really pulling shorts out, okay? And they were trying to shove it down as far as they could in anticipation of earnings. Even they thought that it was earnings. The lower they can get this thing and they can cover short positions and whatnot at a low number, they don't have to do it at a high number, all right? It saves them money. Short borrow fee rate, same. Really hasn't moved. Here we go. So this over here didn't update yet for today. It did update for yesterday, and you'll notice it did land at that 57 mark. I believe I said between 56 and 60. There you go. FINRA volume, short volume today, 3,869. Oh, I didn't cover how much volume we had today. We had 12 million in volume today. So the short volume was almost 4 million from FINRA. 6 million in total from FINRA, so half of our volume came from FINRA today, and well over, almost 3/4 of the volume was short volume. You're going to see the same thing with the CBOE. They're usually right on par with each other. You can tell, usually pretty close, okay? So once those numbers come through, you're probably going to see close to a 65% short volume ratio, okay? Pretty close. Move on. Again, this just confirms everything. In fact, pause the screen right here so you can read it. You can read. I just read to you without reading it what this says. It's not cumulative. They're aggregate. This is the number that's left. This is what's there on this day. We won't know any more for a couple days yet. Doesn't change too much. Again, that's the number up top. Here is showing the short interest. This is what was reported by the Nasdaq, published on the 10th, showing the change of the short interest percent float. Now, these numbers were a little confusing, okay? This was during the whole merger point, so I don't know a whole lot about them, and I'm not going that deep into them because this is old information, and we've covered this in previous videos. All right. Short transactions. So we're getting to that point where I get on top of Terry again. All right. Let's hit refresh. Let's see if it updated. Dang it. No update. He's going to have it. He's already going to have numbers. I know he is for the 12th. He's going to have numbers. Oh, well. Love you, Terry. You're great, dude. Anywho, 96 transactions yesterday. 253,822 shares shorted for less than $1 million shorted yesterday. Okay, which... that's pretty amazing, considering as far down as they drove it. That's all that it was. I was really expecting to see a lot more than that. So, I don't know. Now, again, I'm not saying there isn't manipulation in the market. Not all of this stuff gets reported. And always remember that this is only transactions of $5,000 or more. I would be willing to bet every last penny I had in MMAT that if they wanted to short it from here down to here, they could do it without even being put on that list by simply shorting less than $5,000 per transaction. I don't know. Maybe. Let me know what you think in the comments. Yeah. Let's have a little poll. I mean, I don't know how to do a poll, but I'll count them. Who thinks that they could do that by just not giving $5,000 transactions? Stay underneath it and stay under the radar. I don't know. Maybe. Okay, so let's push on. Let's go on to the buyers and sellers. We like this part too. Now, again, the other day we did clarify that buyers and sellers, it doesn't necessarily mean they bought today. This is a filing that can be anytime within the last something like 40 to 45 days. However, the fact that they're showing up in this kind of time frame, at this time, is very bullish, and it's going to bring more investors in. When they see this, they want to buy in too. So you'll start seeing this every day, more and more and more buyers, more and more 13Fs, because they're seeing these guys down here, Alliance Bernstein, Citadel, Vallejo, Cutler Group, Carroll Fine. They're seeing these guys buying in way back here. All right, and it's being filed up in here. So now they're buying up in here, and it's being filed up in here. Okay, so you're seeing this daisy chain effect now going on in the market with the big institutions coming in, buying the stock. And every one of these are stock positions, not puts, not calls, which calls would be okay, but they're not puts, you know, they're stock positions. Now here's the sellers. So again, same situation. This doesn't necessarily mean it happened today. Okay, we had 3 sellers. This guy was like 96,000 shares, 36,000 shares, and I think pretty close to this one too. So now with that being said, another question that has been given to me, and I want to clear it up right now as best as I can. How come, Uncle Smokey, we're getting all of these big sellers and these big buyers, but it's not making the price go up real big all the time? Well, we all know what a dark pool is, right? Dark pools aren't necessarily always bad. Yeah, they can hide transactions in them. Well, that's actually a good thing sometimes, especially in a situation like this, where you had a guy come in and buy 30,000 shares. This, in one transaction, would make the stock go temporarily parabolic and then crash. You don't want to see that. So this could have been a dark pool transaction. Now, with a dark pool transaction, the way they work is they're not exactly what a lot of people think they are. It's not just somebody buying fake shares off the dark pool and selling fake shares on the dark pool. It's a buyer and a seller and legitimacy. Okay, these have to go through market makers and clearing houses. There's legitimacy to these dark pools. Okay, maybe not all of them. I don't want to tick people off by bursting your bubbles saying that it's a big conspiracy. Well, it is. There's conspiracy to it. We know that. But sometimes some transactions are legit. Okay? And that's what these legitimate transactions are, or could be. Now, stuff like this and this, no big deal. But stuff like this, yeah, huge deal. Like this, huge deal. That's probably a dark pool. Okay? That's a buyer and a seller making a trade. So you're not going to see price action like that, and you don't want to. For the same exact reason, on the opposite hand, okay, opposite hand is if you were to have a seller of 96,000 shares, like these guys here, dump 96,000, or I'm sorry, what is it, 52,000 shares, there it is, 52,000 shares, drop 52,000 shares in one sitting, okay? You don't want that. You want that done on a dark pool. Because if they did that, you're just going to see the stock go from 335 to 210 right now. Right now. Okay? And it may be an exaggeration, but that's what I want to give you as an exaggeration, so you can kind of picture what you're looking at. Okay? So, now, I'm also not saying that it was done on dark pools. This could have been the reason why they have no shares is because they sold all of their shares in small increments back into the market. Profiting. Making profits. Okay? Totally possible, because these are positions showing that they've reduced their positions from what they had to zero. Just simply could have meant they sold their shares off slowly and gradually into the market. Totally cool. And that's how you want them to do that. Again, you don't want parabolic moves down. Now, that kind of concludes all of the educational segments of the video as far as it goes. And again, if I am wrong on anything I have said, and I may be, please correct me in the comments or DM me on Twitter or whatever it may be. Find me on Reddit. I don't care. I'm humble, and I want to give accurate information to all of my subscribers. Okay? You all deserve accurate information, and that's what I want to give you. With that being said, I tweeted George. I did. I'm sure a lot of you saw it. In fact, I'm going to put you on a brief pause. I don't want anybody to see any of my personal stuff here, so hang on one second. All right, there it is. So I sent this out at Palacaris. We, the retail investors, are patiently awaiting. Yes, I know I spelled it wrong. The Q2 earnings report. We also understand you are a very busy person, but a small word to calm the ones who are supporting Meta to explain the confusion on the release date would be great. Thanks for all you are doing. I haven't heard anything from him yet. Hopefully I'll hear something from him soon. But nothing. So, with that being said, let's go over here to the Meta website. We just go over to Meta. I want to show you that you can come down here and look at their quarterlies for what they've done so far, okay? And yeah, I mean, I know this isn't today's. This is upsetting. Here, let's click it. See? Watch. Nothing. Okay. It's upsetting that they didn't release today. And again, the one thing I want everybody to remember is all major companies have a time that they close their doors, and they won't allow anything to come in after that. And that's 5:30 Eastern Standard Time for the SEC. So basically after 5:30, I knew that there was not going to be a release, but I was being hopeful that maybe they would have squeaked it in and it would be posted on their website. And unfortunately, it has not been posted. So I guess we're going to be waiting for tomorrow, crossing my fingers hopefully. Now, with that being said, this here is last quarter's earnings, and it's not too terribly bad. I mean, sure. Do you want, go ahead and hop on there. Like I said, you could just click, boom, there it is. Look through it. All right, last part of the video is the prediction. Oh, and sorry, I don't have an update as far as the earnings date goes because you just seen it. He didn't update me yet. Hopefully, I get a tweet back. I doubt it. Sterling might put something out there. George actually follows Sterling. He's not a follower of me. So he might respond to Sterling if Sterling puts something out there. And let's hope he does. You know, that would really help us out a ton. So let's get to the prediction. All right. So what I did for you today was I didn't go crazy. And the reason why is because earnings weren't released. So we don't have anything we can go off of. And I always say earnings isn't a catalyst. No, it's not. But a stock moves differently on earnings day. Okay? It just does. It moves differently on earnings day. Sometimes it moves up. Usually it moves up, I would suppose, for good earnings. Or at least when you're expecting good earnings. But this is the first earnings report on the Nasdaq. So there's nothing to expect yet, I would assume. I mean, we're not expecting anything spectacular, at least I'm not. So the reason why I put this the way it is because of that reason. Earnings didn't drop, and a stock can trade very crazy on earnings day. So if it drops in the morning, expect for it to do an immediate dip. Of course, hopefully respecting the 335 range. If not, it will probably come down to 330 and then bounce back up. Now, if earnings is good, if we have a positive earnings, expect for this thing to climb. I'm not going to say it's going to stop at this 350 point. However, you know, this is where I think it'll be without earnings. So expect for it to climb with earnings, a good earnings report coming up, probably testing the 360 to 365 range. With a okay earnings report, basically base neutral, you know, expect for it to trade sideways on the 335 to 345 range. And if no earnings at all tomorrow, I could foresee it going a little bit bullish. Now, normally I know I say Fridays it's going to be bearish, but I could see a little bit bullish. We've been doing pretty good these last few days, so I could foresee us, you know, going bull tomorrow. Expect for us to finish right in the 350 range. At least that's what I would think. Again, that's without earnings. That alone, dropping the earnings alone, could change everything, because with earnings can come a good PR. That's what we're waiting for, is some press releases. We need George to start talking. What's the direction? Where are we going? Do we have any partnerships? And that's what I got for you guys today. Like, subscribe, do what you got to do, comment below, share it with your friends and family. Let's get a bunch of meta heads in the building, right? I will talk to you guys tomorrow. Peace.